going to start an American single malt whiskey. All right, but first things first, welcome to Stillworks and Brewing. My name is Randy, and this is the channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. All right, so what are we going to cover today? Well, today we want to answer some questions what is an American single malt whiskey? What does an American single malt whiskey taste like? And what's the rules of this American single malt? And we're also going to show how to make the single malt mash today. Okay, so get ready. The American single malt is relatively a very new spirit for the United States. It didn't come out till about in the 1990s, and in some ways it's close to Scotch, but different. And there is plenty to read out there about it, of how it was organized and came about. So check it out, you'll be pretty interested. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to go over some of the rules, but we'll do that. Let's answer some questions. American single malt, it's made of 100% barley, but I mean, there's so many barleys out there that you can use. I mean, there's like a pale ale, chocolate malt, caramelized malt. But they're all barley malts, so they would count. And you'll get a lot of different flavors from all that stuff. So the flavors for American single malt is going to be pretty endless. I mean, there's a lot. All right. A lot of people, or the taste. A lot of people say that it tastes kind of like cereal taste, or a nutty taste, and that is very true, I found. Okay, so I said we'll go over the rules. Here's the rules for a American single malt. I got them written down so I don't mess them up. All right, number one, it has to be made from 100% malted barley. It has to be distilled in one distillery, so you can blend it from the same distillery, but you can't bring in other distilleries to blend it. Of course, it has to be made in the United States. Now here's number four. It has to be aged on oak. It can be used. It can be new oak, charred, uncharred. There's a lot of options there. All right. This one's just like a lot, it has to be distilled, coming off the still. It can't be no more than 160 proof coming off the still. Hey, they want to maintain the flavor of that barley. All right, and bottled no less than 80 proof. Okay, so that's the rules. All right. Well, I think it's about time to make our mash. All right. What we're going to use today it ain't very much ingredients. We're going to use 18 pounds of malted barley, and the ppg of malted barley is, I found, it's around 36 to 37 ppg. All right, and we're going to use daddy's yeast and oak. That's all we're going to use. All right, so let me get set up, and then we're going to start making this mash. All ready to get started here. I got my grain weighed out. I got 18 pounds of grain. So the next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to mill our grain. So let me get my mill out. All right. I know when you buy grain, you can buy it already milled. I like to buy grain by the 50-pound bag because it costs a lot less. Okay, so let me put my grain in my mill, and I'm gonna mill this, and I'll be back because it's real noisy. So I'll be back. My mash tun's set up here. All right. I do have some. I'm gonna put my basket. Got my basket in there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pump over some, it's about 140 degrees in my brew pot there. I'm gonna pump that over here, and then I'll finish heating it up with the recirculator. So let me pump that over. pump it over, I can start mixing in some of my grains. I think I'm gonna do it. And the idea of it is we want to make sure it's all wet. I do like a single malt. They're very different. They're not, you know, it's a good whiskey. And you can do a lot of different things with it. Let me stop that for a sec. Usually I used to use a cooler as a mash tun. I built this recirculator, and I'll tell you what, it's a game changer. Let me get all this mixed in, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got all my grains are in my mash tun. Oh, one thing I didn't do. Kind of need a thermometer, don't I? Okay, it's reading. It's still climbing. $80, 83, it's still going up. Okay, so what's going on? All right, I'm taking out of the mash tun, through the pump, through the rinse tube, and then back in. And I'm gonna set the temperature for, I'm gonna set it 150 for right now. And that's on. All right, just for a little bit better review, because some people might have not seen this. Of course, I got a mash tun with a basket in it. It's coming out of the thing to the pump. From the pump to the beginning of the rinse tube. Inside the rinse tube is a heating element, right? And it passes by the heating element into the top, and it will recirculate. Okay, here's my PID controller, which is measuring temperature at the end of the rinse tube. And I got it set for 150 degrees. And right at this present time, it is at 117 and climbing. So once it gets to 150, I'm gonna set my timer for 1 hour. Okay? And that's my recirculating system. It works really well. All right, so I'll see you in an hour. Okay, so it's been recirculating for an hour. Let's do a starch test, and that's gonna tell us if we are done. I mean, let me get a little sample. All right, so I got me a little sample there. I just need some, oh, if I can get it open, some iodine. Put a drop in there. And there was no black at all. It just the original color, okay? Put the lid on this before I spill it, 'cause I'm good at that. Yes, like I said, no black at all. If there was starch present, it would have turned black. All right, but it's just the original color, so that means that there's no starch left. Everything is converted over into sugars. Okay, what's next? All right, so what I can do is I'm gonna kill the heat, and we're gonna get ready to sparge this over into our fermenter, and then we'll be ready to move on. So let me get set up and we'll be right back. Okay, so I'm gonna pump over into my sanitized fermenter. This will take a couple minutes. Now I could cool it right down if I wanted to. I'm gonna just put it in there. I'll be out here all day, so it'll cool down, and after a while we'll add our yeast once it gets down to 90 degrees or below. So once I pump this out, then I can put some cool water across the top of the grains and wash out some of them sugars until I get 6 gallons in there. But it's going to be pretty close. I might not have to put any cool water in there. I might just have just enough. Add a little cool water across the top. What our starting gravity is. And 1.08, not 90, 1.088. I'm happy with that. 1.088. All right. And I know it's too hot. I'm gonna check anyway. Yeah, it's 140 degrees. So what I'll do is I'm going to stick that in my fermentation room. And after a while, when it cools down, because I got some work to do out here today, after it cools down, then I'll add yeast to it. It'll ferment for 7 to 10 days, and then we'll get ready to distill that out. And this will be our single malt whiskey. Okay. And one thing I would like to do, and maybe I need some of your guys' opinion, I'd like to do some experiment with American single malts and maybe do some kind of vapor infusion. That's what I'm thinking of. Maybe some cinnamon apple. Ooh, that'd be always very good. Or give me some ideas of what you would like, and we'll see what we can do. But I'm thinking about doing some vapor infusions, not just post-infusion. I want to do it in vapor form. All right. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm really looking forward to it. And like I said, let this ferment, then we'll get on with the rest of it. So I guess the last thing I got to say is, hey, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time here on Stillworks and Brewing. Cheers, everybody.